Various religious scriptures, theological texts, and scientific theories have been existent throughout centuries here. The question remains, which is the absolute truth? And how do we know which one is all Purnam or perfect? Historically speaking, the oldest text that have descended into the Earth's stratosphere is known as the Vedas. Vedas means knowledge. They are known as apurushiya, meaning not of mankind or beyond human intellect. The views of the Vedas build up the unalloyed spirit purely based on transcendence beyond phenomena. They impose the highest esoteric advancement for the means of tracing a cosmic fountainhead who can satisfy all of our quests for understanding the beings and non-beings. The Vedas, in other words, are the first information reports that have come into human existence, which go by the name of scriptures, being the unveiling agents of hidden knowledge in connection with the present predicament of our intellectual speculation. The Vedas emanate from Lord Krishna, and he first imparted the knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, who was manifested from the navel of the Lord in the form of a lotus stem. This was done through Krishna's Swamsha expansions, or personal expansions, known as Mahavishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Krishna first expands himself as Mahavishnu for the performance of creation. From his exhalation, unlimited universes expand from his pores. Mahavishnu then expands himself and enters each individual universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Garbhodaksha Vishnu then fills up half of the universe with a water born of his own perspiration and then lies down on his bed, Anantashesha. Thereafter, a lotus is born from his navel, and Brahma is born from this lotus flower. Brahma first heard the occult sound tappa, which means austerities. After searching vigorously up and down the lotus stem, seeing nothing but darkness, he could not locate where the vibration was originating from. Thus Brahma engaged himself in austerities in the form of samadhi, or spiritual trance, for 1,000 celestial years. Pleased by Brahma's devotion, the Lord for a glimpse unveiled his eternal abode. Brahma saw the immortal world and was filled with divine love and spiritual ecstasy. The Lord had distributed Divya Gyan, or transcendental knowledge, into the heart of Brahma, thus giving him the agency to create the material world, being previously perplexed in his duty. He prayed to the Lord that he wishes not to get deluded by false ego, thinking himself to be the cause of this world. In this way, Vedic knowledge has descended here to the material world, from Lord Krishna to Brahma, Brahma revealing it to Narad Muni, and Narad Muni instructing Vyasadeva, who has written it in scripture form for the welfare of all conditioned living entities. So the self-evident Vedas have been received in a disciplic succession from Guru to Guru, which created a spiritual lineage known as a Sampradaya from the beginning of time. The revelation of the scriptures are thus known to be Amnaya Vakya, authoritative or unprecedented proof that has been passed down to earth. One may argue and oppose to accept the Vedas' metaphysical orientation by utilizing their senses for creating their own conception of its components. Such people interpret subjectively through their determination. By one's empiric and intuitive reasoning, they misconstrue philosophizing the Vedas by mental speculation. Reasoning that is only based on one's logic is always lame in the matter of evaluating inconceivable subject matters, since logic and argument have no access in the realm of the inconceivable. The Vedas is free from the four defects which block a human's gross and subtle cognizance. These human errors consist of Pramad, Brahm, Karanapatava, and Vipralipsa, which the fully autonomous Lord Krishna is never subjugated to. Illusion is the living entity's false impression of reality gathered through the imperfect senses, which consists of signal, collection and transduction. An example would be in the desert. The rays of the sun sometimes produce a mirage, which creates an impression of water, when it is actually not. Since the material intellect by nature is limited, mistakes are inevitably present in one's daily activities, like forgetfulness. Lastly, the cheating propensity. This is manifest when one, whose intelligence is restricted by time and space, is reluctant to believe in the activities and authority of the controller or Ishvara, who is far beyond time and space. Hence, the Vedas can never be altered according to a human's direct sense perception, known as anuman, or interference, known as pratyaksha. They must be accepted as it is, known as shabda praman. So the Vedic system of acquiring knowledge is the deductive process. The realizations are received consummately and directly by the Lord's recipients. Here is a brief diagram displaying the Vedas' contents. As you can see, the essence of all Vedic literature, or Vedanta, is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If one devotes themselves to the Bhagavatam, there is no need to study the four Vedas, as the Bhagavatam contains the full essence of the Vedas. One may ask why. In this day and age, to study the four Vedas is practically impossible. Firstly, to understand the mystical language found therein, one has to study the 6 Vedangas, which are Siksha, the science of pronunciation; Kalpa, the process of performing Vedic sacrifices; Vyakarana, grammatical rules; Nirukta, the derivatives of difficult Sanskrit words found in the Vedas; Jyotisha, astronomy and astrology; and Chanda, the poetic meters in which the Vedas are chanted. Therefore, Vyasadeva, the incarnation of the Lord, wrote the Bhagavatam, who has declared it to be the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. When one waters the root of the plant, the whole plant is fed. Equivalently, when one reads or hears the Bhagavatam, the whole Vedas is absorbed. There are 3 main department activities in Vedic literature, which are Karmakanda, ritual services or fruitive activity in the mode of goodness, seeking a pious merit. These include performance of yajna, fire sacrifices for the demigods, dana, charity, and prayaschitta, penance. Higher than this is Gyan Kanda, decreasing material attachment and understanding the supreme truth through the scriptures, known as Sankhya Yoga, which gives rise to Dhyan Yoga, control of the senses and meditation of the supersoul. The topmost is known as Upasana Kanda, worship through devotion to the Supreme, known as Bhakti. This is considered the conclusive objective for every living entity and is vividly described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Can we put our faith in the Vedas? Faith is an inseparable part of one's existence, and whatever nature one's faith is, that is the direction of life they'll naturally follow. Intelligent placement of faith takes place with that which is most authoritative, meaning it should be infallible, never disproved, and it should have stood the test of time. Science and philosophy is not authoritative because of constant paradigm shifts. People who represent modern day paradigm lack reliable qualities, as stated previously, so we can't really place our faith in them. Always remember to communicate and not speculate the Vedic process of learning. Example is Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita, a king and warrior who first spends his time speculating to understand the truth, only to be led to bewilderment. When he decides to communicate with Krishna's incontestable teachings through a submissive and surrendered mood of inquiry, he meets with great success. If we follow the process of Arjun, the Lord's great devotee, we too can be successful.